Sup world, we're back with another rapid fire guide, which is an updated version of what I did in season 1, this time including Tibalt's Will, giving us machine gun vibes that's really fun to play, while keeping the quote unquote range rogue archetype as much as I possibly can in this build. You can also play this in Eternal Realm, so it's not regulated to just seasons. So just as long as you follow the build guide carefully, you can pretty much wipe the floor with this in the Eternal Realm as well. We do have to take puncture for the Tibalt's Will combination effect, but we can still keep a mostly distance style of play while wiping everything from the screen. To make sure of this, we take the victimized key passive instead of the usual close quarters combat most rogue builds are using. Mainly because we're doing so much damage per arrow and we have 25 plus arrows shooting out that we only really need the area effect from the key passive to help a single target focus skill clear, despite it being the inferior passive. With this setup, there's not a single situation this doesn't shine in, from regular open world farming to T100s, Uber bosses, and Lilith. Do it all with this updated rapid fire build. I even decided to take this exact same setup without changing a single thing to optimize in this Lilith fight, and you can see the results for yourself. It's an easy clap all the way. Alright, so let's talk about the skills real quick. So first we have Puncture. Puncture is going to be your main one. You can't really take any of the other ones even though you are playing range, and this is because of the fact that Puncture with the combination dagger allows you to be able to have a 30% chance to proc 3 combo points, which with the Tibalt's Will is actually all of your combo points. So Puncture is an absolute must here for this particular spec to work the way that it does. You come down here and you take fundamental puncture for the 3 daggers. Then you come down here and obviously take rapid fire. You go with advanced rapid fire because you don't need the resource because of Tibalt's Will pants. So you just take the extra damage after evading. This works with metamorphosis. Then we come down to stutter step, max it out here. Down to weapon mastery, just for any of all builds, you max it out here. And then you only take 1 point into dash because basically you're only using it to move around pretty quickly. Then you want to take a point into concussive just so therefore you can get to trick attacks, and this is important because this synergizes with Mangler's aspect, which is going to be on your boots, and this is going to allow you some very nice crowd control to stay alive a lot easier, especially versus suppressor mobs. Then we come down here, we take max out Dark Shroud, come all the way down to subverting Dark Shroud for the additional movement speed, and of course we don't have it on our bar, but we do have Umbra's aspect to be able to proc it upon lucky hit critical chance. So you're going to always have this up anyways, and this works there. Then you have Smoke Grenade. We come all the way down to countering Smoke Grenade, so therefore we can use it more often in case the fights are actually last long enough. But we do this to disable delete elites and also be able to add a damage, pretty significant damage bonus too as well with this. Then we come down, we take Exploit, we max it out. Come down, take Malice, we max it out. And of course you have your Shadow Imbuement and Cold Imbuements. These are your, this is to spice up your attacks here. We always go with the mixed here just because we want to add additional damage. So here it's a multiplicative damage we're adding here. And also same thing down here, also more multiplicative damage. We're just trying to hit really hard. Then we want to come to Precision Imbuement, 2 points into it. Can't really max it out, don't have enough points, but this is good enough. Come down to Frigid Finesse, max it out. All the way down to Innovation, just 1 point into it is fine, but really you just want to get to Alchemist Fortune. It's important that you take this and max it out because it is lucky hit chance, and we need that for the victimized passive and among some other things, but mainly for the victimized passive to get as many procs as we possibly can while we're imbued. So this is important to max out. Then we come down here to take Adrenaline Rush, only just so therefore we can get to haste because we want more movement speed. And then of course Impetus. Impetus is actually a newer thing here, and that's because we are traveling a lot, we're moving a lot because we're playing at a distance, and so they changed it so that our basic attack doesn't trigger this, which is great, meaning that you're going to get a really nice multiplicative boost at the start of fights, which is going to allow you to one-shot most situations, which is going to feel really nice. And then we end off with the victimized passive. Well, because we want to try to get additional AoE. We hit hard enough already to where we don't really need more actual damage with our arrows. We just kind of need just a little bit more of that AoE, because rapid fire is, you know, kind of struggles more so on the AoE department. So this kind of helps fix that problem. All right, let's go over gearing real quick. We will start with the weapon. Generally speaking, you want all stats, dexterity, vulnerable damage because of victimize, and then core skill damage or distant damage, whichever one you feel, or whatever one that actually rolls high for you on your weapons here. And you want it for all weapons. Then you want to come to your rings, mostly similar, same stats. You're going to want crit chance, lucky hit chance for victimize, and of course you want vulnerable damage for your victimize passive. The other stat can be kind of whatever you want it to be. It can be crit damage because you do crit a lot. It could be damage to distant enemies, but generally speaking, you might want maximum health just to be a little bit more tankier. It's just kind of up to you. You are playing range, so that is a choice for yourself. Then we come to the amulet. Amulet, you're gonna always want movement speed, total armor. Damage reduction is really nice to kind of have here, or you can do cooldown reduction. It's kind of up to you. And then of course the exploit passive is probably one of the best passives to get ranks to, so you want to try to get that too as well. Coming to the armor side of things, for the helm, you're going to want armor as well. Maximum life, let's do cooldown reduction and basic skill attack. You can kind of change out the basic skill attack speed for a single res, as you will see on the Maxroll site, but as my helmet didn't roll for that, I had to kind of get 2 res in my chest instead. So on the chest, I have total armor, damage reduction. You always want those 2. Generally speaking, you want maximum health and 1 res here. So as you can tell, I don't have that, so I had to put 2 res on my chest to basically max out my resistances, which is fine. It works fine here for me. For the gloves, you want your attack speed, crit chance, lucky hit chance, rapid fire. Then of course the pants is to ball as well. This basically makes up the entire build. You want as high of a unique damage as you possibly can, but you actually want to try to get as much resource as you can here, because your resource directly affects how many actual combo points that you get. So that's kind of important. Coming down to the boost, you always want triple single resistance, and then of course movement speed. And that's pretty much it for the stats here. We want to go over the aspects. So for aspects, you have, in these particular 4 slots, it can be any of the 4, whether it is rapid aspect, whether it is corruption, edge masters, or the aspect of the expectant. So those are the 4 that you do want, and they can go into any of these 4 slots, however you have them rolled. So for me, I have rapid here, I have expectant here, I have edge masters here, and I have corruption here. So again, whatever it rolls for you, or however you have it in these 4 slots, whatever works for you and whatever, you know, well, rolled for you. Coming to the amulet, you want to do aspect of the elements. This is going to provide you burst damage on those big cycles, so you kind of want to put it on an amulet here, and you're at a distance, so you can kind of go more offensively here, so we can get bigger numbers, and who doesn't like bigger numbers, right? Then on the weapon, you always want the repeating. This is going to allow your rapid fire to be able to ricochet, and you want to try to get as high of a value as you possibly can on the weapon here. So going on to, well, I did say combination dagger too, so it's not really an aspect, but you do want combination dagger. This is going to help obviously not only give you more damage, but the 30% proc is going to fill up your entire combo point bar. So you do want to probably shoot, you know, quite a few punctures to make sure that you do get that 30% proc and get that max combo points, because that's going to give you a crazy amount of damage here. When it comes to helm, for aspects, I like to put might here. And then for the chest, I put the Umbrus. That's going to give you the Dark Shroud shadows that you see. That's not on your bar, so therefore you can stay alive. And then for the boots, you're going to want Manglers, and Manglers with trick attacks, as you saw in the skill tree. This is going to allow for quite a bit of crowd control. That's going to help you also keep you alive here too as well. For the gems, you want to pretty much go rubies and your armors here. And then for your weapon slot, because you're playing at a distance and you shouldn't be getting hit at much, you don't have to really worry about skulls. You can actually put emeralds here. Even if the emeralds, you know, provide very little damage, it's still better than having, well, nothing. So we'll just go emeralds here. And then for the jewelry slot, you can go straight armor on all of these, because if you do your resistances right, you should be able to cap out all your resistances while being able to not have to worry about putting a like a particular gem in the jury to cap out your resistances. So if you do it right, you can actually put all skulls here and kind of help with your armor at the same time. So going on the vampiric powers, we have Ravenous, and well, Ravenous is just really good. You get a ton of attack speed for having a lot of movement speed, so Ravenous is a must take here. Undying, same thing, basically crazy life leech. It's gonna help you keep you alive. It's very good. Can't imagine ever not running this. We come up to Prey on the Weak because we do have a lot of vulnerable damage and we are trying to keep them vulnerable. So this is very important to have to make sure that your Victimize works, you know, to the best of its abilities. Then we come to a Cursed Touch, which is going to help you maintain that vulnerable that Prey of the Weak is going to allow when enemies are cursed. So you kind of want to have make sure you have both of these here. And then Metamorphosis is going to allow you to have an unstoppable whenever you evade. And this is important because this synergizes directly with the Tabos Will Pants, because when you're unstoppable, you gain this particular damage, you know, the damage bonus here. And this is the only way that you're going to be able to do it, is having Metamorphosis here. Some backup vampiric powers that you might want to take advantage of too is Resilience, if you feel like you're not tanky enough or you feel like you're dying too much. And you can also do like Hectic, which is going to help you reduce your cooldowns. So either or also works too as well, but you do have to give up one of these, and that's going to be kind of up to you if you would want to do that. But these are the 5 that I recommend for this particular setup. All right, so for Paragon, basically the 5 glyphs that you want to max out and make sure that you use with this would be Canny, Ranger, Infusion, Combat, and Exploit. And the way that these boards are going to work is you're going to have the starter board here. It is very important that you do pick up Resilience because, of course, we're trying to max out all of our resistances here. For the most part, you can kind of just follow the paths here. Exploit Weakness needs to be the second board because, of course, is additional vulnerable damage, and that's going to scale with the vulnerable from Victimize. So it is very important that you take this particular board second, and then take all the surrounding nodes here. Exploit Weakness is very good too as well. We go to the right for the third board for Eldritch Bounty. Of course, we're using imbuements, so this board is very big for imbuement based builds. Then we come down to Tricks to the Trade. We pick up some things. This is one of the best boards for the Ranger glyphs, so that's kind of why we take this board, and it also gives you some additional armor value too as well. And then the 5th board is going to be No Witness, and we put the Exploit glyphs especially here because that's going to give you the most value out of your Exploit glyph. And then you take the surrounding things here, and then you pick up something very big, which is the Damage to Healthy Enemies, which is going to give you a lot of very big starting damage whenever you're doing what you're doing. But for the most part, you can just kind of follow this verbatim. Doesn't really matter too much where you go, but I will try to make sure that you keep these boards mostly in order, just for the efficiency's sake. And that does it for this build. This is probably one of my favorite setups because I like playing a range rogue. So putting this together was actually quite a bit of fun. Let me know down in the comments what you think. And as always, till next time.